Okay, here's the first day of battle at Gettysburg. Here we are on Seminary Ridge. This is what the Confederate troops, actually Union troops would have been staring at. Confederate troops would have come up over this road. Right here would have been Buford's cavalry. Reynolds would have come up. You can actually see the seminary that this ridge is named after, where Buford would have gone up and checked out what was going on and ordered his troops around. If it wasn't for this battle right here on this day, then the Union troops probably would have been crushed at Gettysburg. But because the Union cavalry and eventually some infantry come up in support, and we're actually standing on Reynolds Avenue, that's named after the guy, the Union general that was killed here by a sniper trying to defend these heights. The Union forces would not have been able to go up on the hills around Gettysburg and get the best positions. So really this day saved Gettysburg in many, many ways. Here is the end of the day, the first day. You can actually see out here there's a road, and you can actually see cars going down that road. Here comes a big truck. You'll be able to see the truck. You can see that truck right there. That is actually how the Confederates got into Gettysburg, and then massive fighting here on that first day. And I showed you where the cavalry, Buford's cavalry, and the seminary was. I'm going to show you over here. This is actually the end of the first day. Right here in this valley. In this valley right here is where the infantry, Federal infantry, artillery tried to fight off the Confederates. The Confederates were too strong, and so what the Federals do, the Union, actually go through Gettysburg, right through here, and they start surrounding the hills around Gettysburg, which ultimately helps them win the battle the next couple days. So those hills, Culp's Hill, Cemetery Ridge, all these places, you can't see Little Round Top from here.
I also have this.
Here is the seminary. The reason it's called Seminary Ridge is because of the seminary, and this is where Buford was standing as he watched the battle, and pretty cool. This is day 2 of the Confederate advance. You can actually see this is what they would have been since. This is Heath's Division and Hill's Corps. They positioned themselves out here on Seminary Ridge, which they had taken over after the previous battle that day, and aimed their artillery, which you can see right here, towards the town and the hills surrounding. And believe that's Little Round Top over there. Sorry about that. Right there. I'm going to visit that eventually. But this is what they would have been looking at on day 2. They would have formed a parallel fish hook to the Union's fish hook, and I'll show you some pictures of that later. We're still here on day 2, but this farmland right here is the famous Pickett's Charge, and it's about 3/4 a mile, almost a mile, and they would have walked over this ground being fired upon by hundreds of cannons. Day 2, they still just had their positions here. But I want you to get to this angle because we won't be able to see this angle again. This is what the Confederates would have seen as they're marching out onto the field to try to take the center of the Union line. And out here onto Pickett's Charge. My daughter is hiding over there with her mommy. She still has to be 2, even though we're on Pickett's Charge. So here we're walking out. And actually the clump of trees that they're angling for is right there. Right there. That's where the Pickett's Charge army was going for. See the monument right here, just to the left of that. We're in the middle of... We're in the middle of Pickett's Charge. You can see where they started.
Yeah.
and where they ended up.
I know. Let's do this.
Right there, yeah, baby. So you want to hear?
Yeah.
We're walking to the 20th Maine. This is the second day. Extreme left flank. What do you think? Is that good?
Hold it.
Sound interesting?
I'm gonna hold it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
hold
Daddy's
it.
talking on us. You want to say something to it?
I'm gonna hold
Say
it.
hi to everybody.
Hi.
Good. So they were over here. We're gonna go find them. And if it wasn't for them, the whole Union Army would have been destroyed. It would be two separate countries. So we're gonna see where this happened. Okay? Sound good? All right. So here's the extreme left of the Union line on day 2. So we're the 20th Maine. Actually took its spots. The wall would have been like right here. The difference, there would have been no cars, obviously. That runs all the way back there. And this right here, folks, is the day that really one of the reasons America was saved. Because these men here at the 20th Maine refused to give up this ground. And they put their lives in danger by charging down this hill onto the Confederates who were advancing after more than an hour of fighting. On the other side of Pickett's Charge, on the third day, this is what the Union would have stared out at. They would have seen 15,000 Confederate soldiers coming right at them. You can actually see that car. I don't know if you can see it very well. There's a car right there. That's actually a road that the Confederates would have had to jump over as they're being shelled by Union artillery. Another cool monument is right here. This is the Minnesota Monument. The first Minnesota Volunteers. It's a great book. It's called The Last Full Measure, The Life and Death of the 1st Minnesota. My Minnesota family should definitely get that. It's really easy to read. It's written really, really well, and it's about this great regiment that helped basically preserve the Union on this third day. They were absolutely incredible. The 1st Minnesota Regiment Volunteers. You can see that. There you go. Yeah, they were amazing that day. So here we are, standing at the high water mark of the Confederacy, of the rebellion. This is where they were ultimately repulsed. See that right here? This is the farthest south and the best the South had ever gotten. And the clump of trees behind it is the clump of trees they're aiming for during Pickett's Charge. Little Armstead. The people that really got them to move died right there. He actually died a day later, but that's where he was mortally wounded. And he's the person who took his hat, put on his sword, and said, "Give him the cold steel, boys." And they got to that spot and they were shot. So this is the final part of Gettysburg.